right, guys, welcome to the Buff Show. We have an exciting podcast. I've used this one a lot, but this is what should we call this?
Pick two
Pick
option.
two, but out of three.
Right.
The triangle. So if you're a buyer and you're looking for a house, you really have three things that you can like pick from, but you can only pick two of them. So let's jump into it. Who wants to start us off?
You got, price.
Yeah.
One.
So I want a beautiful house. So price, $1 million or whatever. What's the next one?
Location.
Okay. And then condition, size, quality. So you really, those are your three options or the three levers that you can pull, but you only get to pull two of them.
Correct.
So I see this a lot in Ogden Valley where it's like people want, let's say they want to be under $1 million. They want a good location and they want it to be pretty updated and nice. It's like, well, that doesn't exist because the median sales price in the Valley is like 1.2 million.
Right.
And I remember this has been a few years ago, but I had a client and he's like, I want a house in the Valley on acreage with amazing views, and I want to be under $1 million or around $1 million. And we were looking and looking and looking, and I'm like, dude, this just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right?
That's your unicorn.
Yeah, you can't have the price, the location, and the condition because he didn't want to update it either.
Right.
So like he could have bought the house that I bought that has like a decent price, the location's good, and the condition sucks. I mean, I kind of got.
No, absolutely.
It's funny. But
I mean, yeah. Like realistically, I've done it too. Like both the properties that we've purchased, you're giving on one or the other.
yeah.
Right?
So what did you give on yours?
So the first home we bought was in a great location. It was in a great spot in Centerville.
Yeah.
The price on it was fantastic. We got a killer deal on it, but the condition was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Right? It was unlivable at first. Right.
Yeah.
So we got two of the three. And then on the second home, price was decent. I mean, I think we still paid, I'd say close to top dollar for that property. We got a pretty good incentive, but we paid top dollar for that property. Location was good. It's in a nice new development, in a good area. And then the condition was great, right? It's a brand new build.
So you settled on price.
We settled on price.
Because it was an amazing deal, like your first one.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
What have you seen with this?
My own experience as well is just that I've got the most spectacular view. Like I've got Nordic Valley in my backyard.
Yeah.
Good size home for my family to grow in. Great price on it. But again, the home needed some updates. So we had to update them and do all those things. But I think that, again, it's the combo. You gotta pick two of the three and decide what's valued most.
So how can buyers like utilize this? I have some right now that we're working with, and they really want to be in a certain area, but the condition of house that they want is kind of pushing them. The condition and price are pushing them into other areas where it might be cheaper, but they're not willing to go to that area yet. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, you either have to go to that area to get the price and the condition that you want, or you need to settle on the condition and be okay with the price and the condition to be in this area, right? One of them will have to give. Because we showed them houses that are in the price and location that they want, but they're like, man, this needs a big remodel or update. And it's like, that's what it's going to take to get into here.
Right. I think the only way, like, you're never going to get all three. I just don't think you can.
Yeah.
The only way you can maybe get close, I still think you're going to give a little bit on something, but the only way I think you can maybe get close on maybe getting the price a little bit down from where it's listed at, the location and the condition is, I think everything just has to line up.
Yeah.
You have to have a seller who is, I don't want to say desperate, but has to sell the property.
Yeah.
And then you need to be able to essentially give on your terms.
Right.
Right. You're not going to get your ideal terms, but you might be able to get a decent price as far as probably no closing costs.
Yeah.
And if there are repairs needed, probably not going to get repairs, but the home may be updated, right? But you might be able, but you would need to be able to be, in my opinion, fully pre-approved and ready to close in 2 to 3 weeks.
I tell clients quite a bit, and it's like, if we're trying to seek for like a win-win where everybody's like, the deal goes through, right? I think people think when they think of win-win, they think of like warm and fuzzies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, win-win oftentimes is like everybody's conceding a little bit, and everybody feels like, man, this isn't exactly what I wanted, but it's pretty dang close.
Yep.
Right.
Because when you think about it, we're trying to take a seller that thinks they have the best property in Utah and a buyer that's like, I like it, but there's better ones, right? And they're trying to be like, so you have like somebody that's way up here, somebody that's way down here that doesn't want to overpay. We're trying to find that middle ground, and that typically involves both people being slightly unsatisfied.
I always tell my clients, like, you're dealing with somebody who has an emotional attachment to a property.
Yeah.
Right? They raise their kids in it.
Right.
They have a lot of memories there, experiences there. So that to them is value.
Right.
Right. To the buyer, all it is to them is numbers
Right.
at this time. They might love the home, might be a really cool place, whatever, but realistically, only thing that matters to them is the numbers. And so you're trying to bridge this gap of an emotional attachment to this home that gives a lot of value, and then just trying to make the numbers work,
Right.
and trying to meet, like you said, somewhere in the middle most of the time.
It's a hard process,
Yeah.
piecing it all
You
together.
put on a lot of hats as an agent.
Yeah, a lot of
Little therapy.
therapist hats. I think the biggest thing to get clear on is like, what are your absolute needs and what are your wants? And once you can like separate what those are, if you have your needs list, like, hey, we have to live in this area for school district or to be close to family, then you might have to concede on some of the other things, on the price or the condition, if the location is your number one. If you're like, hey, income wise, we just can't afford over this price number, and we want a house with these parameters, this condition, you might have to be flexible on just looking in multiple different areas to try and find what you need. So you really have to like rewind it back and be like, okay, what's most important? And then what's second most important? And then what can we kind of concede on to make this happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I think just getting down to your like needs and wants list, being clear with whoever is involved in this decision with you guys, and then communicating that with your agent will go a long ways. And then just being realistic. Everybody wants a deal. Everybody wants to feel good about what they're buying. And like we all want that. But I think the bigger thing is I've worked with tons of deal shoppers, people that want deals and they want to feel like they got the best price out there. But I don't think that's the most important thing. I think the most important thing, the people that I have seen succeed in the real estate market long term are the ones that are able to make decisions pretty quick and know what they want, and to just get in the market and then like on to the next chapter, right? I think sometimes we like overcomplicate and overanalyze to the point where you're paralyzed. It's that paralysis by analysis that I think we all fall into at times, when sometimes you just have to make a decision, be quick, because in my opinion, time in the market will beat any deal that you could potentially get over time. And sometimes it's just getting into it. And I've helped multiple people where they were so focused on like, man, it just, we're 10 grand off or 15 grand off, and they didn't buy. And looking back, they're like, man, you walked away from so much money over 5 grand or 15 grand or whatever.
And
it was.
it's hard for us to, because we're not the one buying the house, right? Like at that time, we're not the one that's buying the property, and we are the agent, and we can kind of take a step back and look at it from maybe a more statistical type of view versus it being very changing, emotional or changing on like your specific life and your situation. Because like you were talking about, 5 grand, like realistically 5 grand over a 30-year payment is nothing.
Change.
You know what I mean? Is nothing. But if that monthly payment is already stretching, like 5 grand seems like a lot, and it feels like a lot, and that's something we need to just talk about and be personable with the client. That way we understand like this is their situation. But I do agree. I think a lot of times on both sides, buyer, seller, I deal with some clients where if they take things so personal, right? You get into, they go under contract, they do an inspection, and the buyers come back and say, hey, here's a list of 10 items. We want these fixed, or we want money off, or whatever that is. And the seller almost a lot of times just takes that personal, like, they think my property's crap. You know what I mean? And that's just not the case. And so I think being able to keep a level head and just seeing like, what's the goal here, right? Is the goal to get the property sold? Is it the goal to get the property purchased? Is the goal to, or is it to, this is our budget, this is our bottom, this is our top, whatever that looks like, we're not passing it regardless. I do think that you do want, even as a buyer, it would be a good idea to have a cap. That way you're not making a dumb decision that
definitely
could financially hurt you.
We definitely don't want dumb decisions.
No.
Right. I feel like emotional decisions are the ones that you end up regretting in the end.
Yeah. When I look at the list, so you have price, location, condition. One of those is one of them's not permanent. So and that'd be the condition, because you can update that. Location, I don't think that's something you should settle on if you're set on being in a certain area, because it's not like you can pick that house up and move it easily. And then price, you can't really change over time either. Like what you get in for it is what you get in for it. But you can control your income, or getting a second job, or your spouse goes to work, or you sell something that helps pay for it, a toy or whatever. You consolidate your debt, or you rent out the basement. So I think, honestly, if I were to rate them, location would be top one, price would be second, and condition should be third, because condition at any point could be changed.
Correct. Unless the one caveat with condition is if it's a major repair that needs to be done and it happens under your ownership.
Yeah.
Right? Like you kind of get into sewer line goes bad or whatever.
I know, but the longer I'm in it, and maybe it's because my repairs keep getting bigger and bigger, but I look at, I don't know, I with my background, everything's fixable.
For sure.
I've even seen how, unless the house is sliding off of the hillside, most likely, even if you have foundation issues and corners that are settling. We did a transaction in Salt Lake, and it had spots of the house where it had settled
6 inches.
And they can go in and they can lift it up. There's things I've seen houses. I just sold one in Roy that it had been completely lifted off of the foundation, moved to a different location, set down on a new foundation, and resold there. It was built in the 1800s. It was crazy. They're able to move houses. So I agree with you, but again, you have to have the financial ability to upgrade the condition. But I think over time, people's income tend to go up.
For sure.
Their financial positions seem to get better over time. So I think it's more important to settle on condition, and maybe I'm doing it right now. I'm not in the condition or kind of house I'd like to be in, but it's a house that I'm like, hey, as we save up, as we do these improvements, we can turn this into a freaking sweet house.
And not only that, if it's going to be a fairly short term place where you're going to be in, condition is going to be the spot that you want to give on, because you can improve the condition, make money on the property that way. If you strictly just rely on the real estate market to make you money, and you're only planning on being there for 2 years, 3 years, right now, if you're in a property for 2 years, once you close on the sale and you pay agents and closing costs, you're not making money on that.
But how do we let's relate that, because we know what I settled on in my place. It was for sure the condition and maybe the price, because I feel like I paid still a lot for it. But the location is right where we want to be. But we
house settled on price, right?
Yeah,
that's where we.
But you're not going to be there for a long time.
Well, no, but we're going to keep the property as a rental. So we've actually made that decision. We built a home. We put $100,000 down on it, and we did get 30 grand in concessions.
Yeah.
And that was a nice give. It allowed us to finish the basement as a full apartment. So Me and Michaela have been tossing back ideas like, what are we going to do with our next, what's next, right? What's the next step? And so, we tossed around ideas. Do we sell and liquidate and pull out the 100,000 that we put down? Plus, I think
Whatever
we're up
appreciation.
40 grand because we've done some updates and stuff like
Yeah.
that to the property. Do we pull out the 140,000 and move on? But like Paden said, like we settled on price, right? And so I feel like right now for us, best situation is to do what we can to keep that property, because I think we can rent it out, cash flow a little bit of money, definitely break even.
But you were smart when you did it because you bought a house. You've been able to get some sweat equity with the landscaping and the basement, and you're renting the basement now.
Correct. Yep.
So you have like a few ways that you're like, this wasn't everything we wanted as far as price wise. We stretched it a little bit, but because of these things, we're able to offset that and make it make more sense. And then you can rent it out and you just got a rental property.
Right. Absolutely. Yep.
And you guys, technically, you've been there almost a year.
October will be a year.
So you could move out November.
Yep.
And go get another loan and put 3 to 5% down.
Yep.
And
it'll be February, but
yeah,
because of tax reasons. So
gotcha.
Yeah. But yes.
Yeah, but that's cool. Like it's kind of flowing into your. Like that was never a long-term property for you.
No, it wasn't. And when we got into it, because with it being a new build, it was with a big builder. So it wasn't like it was all this big custom house or whatever. But we did go into it like, this is our cap, right? This is our max amount. So what updates or upgrades can we do that we feel like are going to improve the property the most for either resale or for either a rental?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the game plan going into that property, which I think was really good for us to do, because there was a lot of upgrades or updates that we would have loved to have done that would have, in our opinion, made the property more aesthetically pleasing, or may have made the work for me once we moved in less work for me to do on the property. But ultimately, the goal isn't to, right now, it's not to have this beautiful property that has the perfect kitchen and whatever, right? The goal is to have a property that's going to make us money, and that's it.
Yeah. And it's cool you've been able to do that with a family and kids.
Yeah.
And so like you're still investing, even though the style of like the phase of life is a little bit harder to do that within. Yeah. So
for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think that we covered a lot there. Anything else you guys would like to add?
Just be clear with your goals. Whatever that is, be clear with your team. That way they can best serve you.
Yeah. And realize you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, nobody can. So
which is an interesting saying, but basically you can't have everything in the world that you want. Right?
You got to give
when
on
you
something.
Want it. You have to be able to sacrifice some things in order to achieve your long-term dreams. In fact, I was last story working with some clients, and they're young clients, newlywed. We're looking at properties, and I'm telling them like, hey, when we were first married, it's way easier to build a rental portfolio when you don't have kids. Like if you can stomach buying a fixer-upper house or a house in an area that you can keep it as a rental afterwards. The problem is they're like, well, we really want some land and we want cows and horses. And I'm like, you can do that, but those properties are harder to find. They limit you versus finding like just a cute little place that you live in for a year and then keep it and then do that again. And then I'm like, what my experience has been is we made those sacrifices when we were newlyweds, younger, and we lived in the city. We lived in a fourplex. We lived in a duplex. All these different conditions with kids too, but that's giving us the flexibility to now where we have 10 acres and cows and horses, and so it's just like, well, sometimes sacrificing sooner like makes bigger payoffs later too.
Swallow your pride. Like I had to do that for our first property. I never thought I'd buy a property that was literally inhabitable, honestly. Like I wouldn't let my kids into, or my kid at the time, into the house. Yeah. And I hated it.
When you guys worked so hard on that, getting it fixed up and everything, but then you were able to sell it.
Yeah, later. We sold it and we were able to walk away with roughly $120,000 in 2 years, right? Like that's way more than what the market would have given us. And so like that home set us up very well for our next house. And then just with the career and then this house is going to continue to set us up for what's next.
It's a little stepping stone. I feel like, you know, your end goals with the horses and the cows and everything, that doesn't have to be right now. Like you can step by step get to that point, and you will have what you want in the end. But sometimes those sacrifices do have to come first.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to know the vision that you want and everything. And I've always wanted horses, but I'd much rather have them now than and have some time to be able to spend with my kids than to have had that way earlier, but then lost out on having a bunch of rental properties now. So it's just what you want, but you got to be able to be patient and put in the effort and energy to make it happen. So hopefully this is insightful. We use this a lot, like, hey, these are your options, but you only get to pick 2 of them. It's kind of a fun mind game that helps you put things into perspective. So thanks for watching.
Thank you guys.